I was born in England, came to the United States, and I studied chemistry. I got my degree in chemistry, went on to medical school, and got my MD degree here in Miami. And then I trained in anesthesiology and in intensive care medicine, critical care. I'm also board certified in pain medicine, and I'm also a toxicologist. And I'd say probably the last 10 years I've really moved my emphasis on studies into preventative functional medicine. And that's really the arena that I practice right now, is preventative medicine. And it's very exciting because rather than fix the problem downstream, we're solving the problem upstream.
Yep.
So it's prevention, and we're seeing right now that's the new move. There's a new paradigm in medicine, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Well, astaxanthin is a carotenoid. So it belongs to the same family as beta-carotene, zeaxanthin, lutein, and lycopene. Lycopene is the red pigment in tomatoes, and beta-carotene is the orange in carrots. Zeaxanthin is the yellow in corn. So that's the carotenoid family. And they all have the ability to, they're all antioxidants. But of all the carotenoids, in fact of all the antioxidants, this carotenoid called astaxanthin is the most powerful antioxidant that I've ever come across. And the science is really showing that yes, it is the strongest, most powerful antioxidant that we have. So once again, it's a carotenoid, and carotenoids are pigments that give our plants and our fruits colors, but they have another capacity. They're antioxidants. And astaxanthin is one of these antioxidants, which just happens to be the best, the brightest, and the biggest. And it's grown from, or it's manufactured from a green algae. Now, when this plant becomes stressed, it manufactures this carotenoid, astaxanthin, to protect itself. And we are able to harvest that astaxanthin, and now we can actually utilize the same tools, the antioxidant ability of this great carotenoid, astaxanthin, to help us and prevent problems, diseases that are caused by free radicals. And astaxanthin is just a great tool. If you understand that most diseases, and I'm talking about heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, strokes, immune diseases, even cancer, if you understand that they all have a very common denominator, and it's free radicals. And free radicals are toxic molecules that attack cells. They all have that common denominator. Inflammation, all begin with free radicals. And free radicals can be neutralized before they do damage using antioxidants. So a classic antioxidant that we've all heard of is, vitamin C is the classic. Well, astaxanthin is 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C at fighting these free radicals. And if we can eliminate and neutralize these free radicals before they do damage to our cells and tissues, then we have some good protection on board. So that's the real advantage of astaxanthin, and that's why I and my family and my patients, that's why I recommend astaxanthin. It's prevention. We'd rather prevent the problem than really have a problem struggling to control it, put the fire out. I want to prevent the fire before it starts. And that's a great question, because the astaxanthin market, because of its great capacity, is exploding, and everybody wants to have astaxanthin. And so the source of astaxanthin is key. So I'm recommending, make sure you go with a trustworthy, reputable company that has a long history and can guarantee the stability, the purity, and the potency of their astaxanthin. And it just so happens that AstaReal's company are the ones who publish the most studies, clinical studies on humans. So really, they are the authority, they are the pioneers, and they are the pathfinders. So That's where I'm putting my money, because I know what what I'm buying. I'm buying quality, I'm buying purity, and I have that guarantee. So that I know that the astaxanthin I'm taking, it's not adulterated, it doesn't have synthetic astaxanthin, doesn't have any contaminations, and it's guaranteed, and it has a track record. Astaxanthin is really still making its presence in the market. We're still learning about it, and fish oils have been around for 30 years. And I'd like to remind you that when fish oils first came out 30 years ago, they had a similar start as we have it now with astaxanthin. It's getting the information out, it's getting the human studies, all the results from the human studies out to the public so that they become aware and educated. We're arriving there. So yeah, omega-3s, they got out of the blocks a little earlier than we did. With regards to krill oil, there's a little bit of misinformation. The krill oil contains a very small amount of astaxanthin, okay, very small amount. And I don't want to get too technical. The type of astaxanthin, the molecular structure of the astaxanthin in the krill is a little different also. So the astaxanthin that we're talking about is the astaxanthin made by the algae, and it's pure. It's far more potent. If I was to measure. If I was to take 1 gram of krill and 1 gram of algae and measure how much astaxanthin, the power of it, the krill would be something like 120 parts per million, whereas the H. pluvialis, the algae, would be 40,000 parts per million, far more potent, far more concentrated, and really it is the original source because it is the original manufacturer. So you can't really compare krill. Krill isn't as potent as astaxanthin, and the H. pluvialis algae, being the original manufacturer, you might as well go right to the manufacturer and buy, get the real, pure, potent, most concentrated form of astaxanthin, and that is from the H. pluvialis algae. Now, who do I recommend it to? I recommend it to everybody who needs protection. So if someone asks me, well, who needs protection? Guess what? We all do. We're so exposed to free radicals, reactive oxygen species, these toxic molecules in the environment, our food, biocides, pesticides, heavy metals, the air we breathe. We're constantly being bombarded by free radicals. So we do need that supplementation, that protection on board. There are certain nutrients that are considered essential. We call them essential nutrients, and you've heard of essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. That's because the body can't make them. We need to consume them to have them on board for that protection. And I would consider that astaxanthin is an essential nutrient to protect ourselves from these free radicals that cause all kinds of diseases. Remember, they are the common denominator, the initiator of all disease. You name the disease, free radicals are involved. So how do we handle those free radicals? We need some help. And astaxanthin is the guardian angel that's going to come in and help us. So I'm recommending for people for general antioxidant coverage anywhere from 4 to 8 milligrams. People who have a cardiac history or are concerned about cardiac health or worried about a stroke, they have someone in their family who's had it, and more in the middle age and in the zone of watching their cholesterol, 12 milligrams. And the reason I say 12 milligrams is that's what the published data shows, that people who take 12 milligrams have better cardiovascular protection. But for the general public and for yourself, I would say anywhere from 4 to 8 milligrams. You take it with food so there's better absorption and get that, blanket antioxidant coverage. I'll just say a couple of things about synthetic astaxanthin. Number one, as far as I know, it does not have FDA approval for human consumption. Number two, they have not done human clinical safety studies, long-term safety studies with synthetic, so I don't know what the long-term studies or the long-term safety of synthetic is. I haven't seen any evidence. And thirdly, it's made of petrochemicals. So, vinyl butanol, which is an ink and used for paints. I mean, these are the chemicals that are used for the manufacture of synthetic. Versus natural astaxanthin is a green plant, light, water, and minerals. And this wonderful little natural factory manufactures a natural, more potent astaxanthin. So for me, it's an easy decision